Guess who's back? Oh, amen. So happy. Okay, let me turn that off. How's it going, everybody? Oh my gosh, let me move him. Move, Mike. Okay, brain freeze. As usual. Oh, there's just got to be an easier way to do this, right? Ta-da! Oh, now I've got to go back to the comments. How's it going? we are. I'm actually broadcasting to Facebook also. So this is the second time I've done it. Only because I guess the planets lined up. I don't know. We're just gonna wing it like we do everything. And thank you, Okie dokie. Thank you, Okie dokie. Thank you, everybody, for being here, first and foremost. And thank you for the donation. Thank you. It's getting real. Like, I talked to Kathy briefly earlier, and I don't worry about things. Remember, there was a whole hurricane heading right for my town in 2020, and I did not even know. That's how much I just was immersed. And that hurricane ended up being a distraction from the case, from reality. That was like August 29th of 2020. So June is when they found the kids. Um, it was crazy. But anyway, so good to see you guys here. Thank you for being here. Hello back to all of you. Hurricane Laura. I had Laura from the south and Lori in the north. I was like, yeah. Good to see you. Ron, I did get your email. It was very nice. Very nice. Thank you. I concur. Y'all write so well. And I feel like with all the reading I've done, my writing has just gone to crap. It used to be what I was like. I excelled in English literature, spelling. Now I'm just like, wait, what? Terrible. Trauma brain, you know? And let me take my gum out. Um, we had, I don't even really know. I hate saying bad things or bad news, I guess you can say. Um, my cousin was murdered um, this week, Monday. He's the same age as my brother, and his wife shot him. And I saw him last at my grandmother's funeral, and I don't know. It just don't even register anymore. um, I kicked into gear, I guess you can say. I did what I usually do, or what I've done in this case. I know that in the very beginning of something tragic, like a homicide. Um, the old screenshots that I have of everything, where I went and, what was uncovered by everybody sleuthing and everything. I went and just took screenshots of his page, Facebook page, hers. Scoured the internet, and I spent like the whole day doing that, and just to capture it, because it's like everything changes after that. It did in this case. Um, Now, I mean, she's claiming spousal, domestic, whatever. But Justin, again, I mean, of course, I'm not. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors, right? So, I mean, humans are human. They're going to human and everything, right? Humanal. I'm joking. Um, but like, he just wasn't an aggressive person. Um, his name was Justin Carrier, and he was like one. I had bought my mom's house whenever, she moved out. She moved out, and so me and my husband at the time bought that house. And it actually burned down a couple of years later. Um, anyways, and my cousin, I'm sorry, my cousin, yeah, they're my second cousins, but they lived on the same road. And Vicky is she's like my dad's cousin, so older than me. And then her children, Justin being one of them. um he was the good kid, like, anyways. But they lived right there, and just a couple doors down. And they would, like, Justin would come over all the time and play with Zach, my little boy. And I mean, it was really cool. I enjoyed Justin. He was funny. um he had a good, genuine heart. He wanted to be a doctor, but he was so smart. He was so smart, and witty. Smart ass. Just good guy. And it's like, and where I come from and my family and everything. And this is the Trahan side, so you know, same. It's like we had groups of cousins, if that makes any sense. Like, they're cousins that are older than me, and then there's me and my cousin Nikki and Sarah and Danielle, and anyways. And then there's the lower, the younger class, I guess you could say, and that's Amanda and Aaron and Todd. Todd and Aaron are just like 14 days apart. And then we have second cousins, right? And so, anyway, so Justin, he was really close with Todd. And as a matter of fact, when he walked into the funeral home for my mama January 8th, I believe that was the date, I saw him, and I was hugging my other cousin Josh. And at that same time Justin walked in, and I was like, well, look at this little sucker. I'm like, he don't even age. We look all broke down and stuff. He comes in looking, good and healthy and happy. But it just is crazy. It's crazy. Stop killing people. God dang. That's just nuts. 36 years old, so that's my brother's age. And this hits home enough as it is. you know Life is full of loss from things that aren't even human. I mean, I've been attached to and sentimental with places, the place where I grew up. Um, it's loss though, whenever you move away and things change. And anyways, I don't know. I've always just had to adapt and overcome. I'm sure like a lot of you, you just have no choice in it. That's all there is to do. It's just, fall to your knees or whatever, and you dust off after you're done beating yourself up, or feeling sorry for yourself, or just crying and hurting and just dealing with it. And then you're just like, okay, well, what now? You just get back up, dust your knees off, and you just keep going. I don't know any other way. I thought this was normal. And maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know what's abnormal. I don't know what's normal. Whatever. I'm just here. But I mean, I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, I can post this on my community wall, and we can get on top of this for Justin. And his wife's name was Summer. Just saying, Summer, redhead. And they had 3 babies. Oh God. But anyways, it's just nuts. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can physically, mentally, spiritually take on another weight. It's an investment. It's like you're emotionally involved. I feel like I don't have a choice but to be attached to Tylee and JJ and Charles like I am. Like there's no question, I'm just like, no, this is my family. And this affects me firsthand. And the things that Lori and Chad are accused of, they hurt people that I love and treasure. And that's I think the worst part. Is just dealing with the pieces from them just being assholes. I don't know how else to put that, but that's just, it's so selfish. And it's so senseless. It's avoidable. We all know. I mean, I feel that Lori did that to spite everybody. If I can't have them, you can't either. That type of mentality. And for financial gain, of course. I don't know. For somebody who thought she was so translated and exalted, and or to be told that even, I really don't feel like Lori exalted herself. That's I'm being honest with you. I feel like, and from what I've studied, what I've read into this past 4 years, everything. And I mean, I've tried to debunk it so many different ways, and you can't get around it. I've tried, because I'm like, no, that can't be it. This is crazy. And, I mean, it kind of goes in the same pattern with the rest of the story, which is freaking crazy. It's crazy. But it's not just her craziness. And I'm not taking up for her. Trust me. This is not me taking up for her. This is just me trying to look at the entire picture, the big picture. That, I mean, really, ultimately, we really shouldn't be saying doomsday, well, maybe doomsday couple, but cult mom. That hashtag is burned up. The doomsday prophet, Chad, he's not a prophet. We're all prophets if you really want to look at it. It's kind of like the cult thing, it's anyways, it's not their cult. They're not their own offshoot at all. They are and were a part members. I'm sorry, they were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka the Mormon Church. It is what it is, you know. It took me a long time to. It didn't take me long to get to that point. It took me a long time to come forward with that because I really wanted to be sure because it's a big deal. And I've just been studying that and just the patterns. Oh my God, the evidence, if you can say it like that, it is overwhelming. I mean, case closed, done, guilty. Um, and so I guess just me diving into the whole influence, you know, I ignorantly said, and I know y'all have said it, y'all have heard me say it so many times, but it rings true to me and it's part of my story. It's part of this, what spun me off into this, onto this path. Um, and it was when I heard, you know, I overheard Uncle Charles and Mom talking in the kitchen, which is an open floor plan. And it was me, Mom, Larry, and Uncle Charles that I can remember. And I just overheard, because I'm not a digger. Hey, Mary. Yes, it's 5 now. Good to see you. Um, so, anyways, I just overheard. I'm not a digger. I mean, I dig as far as research and stuff like that, you know, but I just, you know, I'm not a prying person. It, he'll tell me if he wants to tell me or if he wants me to know. People will tell me if they want me to know things, you know. Other than that, I just overhear or just kind of see in my peripheral or whatever. And so, you know, Mom and Uncle Charles said something that I remember hearing cult, and I was like, what? You know? And so at that same time, me and Larry broke off and went to the kitchen. I mean, to the living room, which is an open floor plan. Damn allergies. I sound like a dying cow. Anyways, um, and Mom and Uncle Charles stayed right there at the bar. I mean, we can see them, you know. And I was like, a cult? And Larry was like, mm-hmm. And I was like Charles Manson, you know? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I thought about it and I was like, well, he didn't kill anybody. Ignorant, you know? Ignorant. And it's bliss. It is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. But um, for this being such a tragic story, um, this this is, I guess, a silver lining in it is, since this happened anyways, I'm glad that I took the path that I did and that I learned everything that I've learned up to this point and will continue, because I mean, I've never poured my heart so much into something. Never. Oh my gosh. It's just like one good throat clear and I'd be good until the next time. And I'm scared. Jason finally put my mic up here. And so let me just mute it here. So thank you, Kathy. Thank you, mods. The God Mod Squad, right? Am I right? Yeah. But anyway, so I mean, yeah, ignorance is bliss, and oh my gosh, whatever. I'm over the throat clearing, man. Hey, Dora. And yes, what's done in the dark comes to the light. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and so that brings purpose to their deaths. In my opinion, in my realm, who I am, this is how I am grieving. Um, this is the way I choose to honor the victims' legacies and to try and flip it to where some positive can come from all this negative, right? It's disgusting. It's so dark. This is some of the most darkest crap I've ever seen. I didn't know this about my world, and I know that I don't know the half of it, you know. But I'm not sitting there like a duck anymore. I'm aware, and there's so much more, not only to uncover, but there's more to bring to the light. Of course, there's more advocacy work that's coming from this as well. There's so much work to do. There's enough for everybody, and then some. There's oh gosh, there's laws to pass. There's bills. There's so many things to do, and I can't wait to get on the other side of the trials so that I can start focusing more into that. And everything will be done in their names because of them, because they brought us together. Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe brought us together, and they keep us here. And I love being a part of this. I love that you're here, and I love that you love them just like I do. I love that. I love the community that has come from this like I said, tragedy, all these tragedies. But this is part of that turnaround where out of such a negative situation, you can and do get, there's positive, there's as above, so below. Oh my gosh. I took medicine. It's not working very well. Oh, hey, Alpha and Moira. Love you too. I finally got my letter to the judge voice. All right. Thank you, the Reels 360Z. Good. Thank you. I've got to call or I got to fill out my victims, whatever services. I don't even, I'm only doing it so I can read them. My, whatever it's called, the victims, why do I go blank? Whatever, the little victim's letter, whatever, statement. I've watched, some things on A&E before, and there's some that just lunge at them and at the murderers, and there's some that hug, and I'm just like, oh my God, I thought about writing it beforehand, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a plan. Oh, you saw Larry on the news here in Wyoming the other day. He never really says a bad word against anyone. Always a true Southern gentleman. I'm blessed. Definitely. Larry is top notch. I love that in him also. He is a positive person, and he doesn't. My family's like that though. We don't talk trash. It's trashy, and it doesn't. I don't know. I just wasn't raised that way. I've been, like sucked into some drama before, but I steer clear. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. I do. My nerves are on their own, my anxiety and all that. We're good. There's enough drama in this case. There's enough drama. Make your head spin, And so when people try to add to it, or even just polarized, I don't get that. I don't understand it. It's foreign to me. I'm just like, what's going on? Zach was, let's see, I'm 44. I was 21. So a hot minute. 23. Don't check me on math. I think 23 years, almost 24. He's been just a huge blessing. always loving. I mean, I really don't remember one time where I was like, meh, you know, I never, I always loved Larry. He's a good guy. um, you know, and I saw him and, you know, do an interview with Nate Eaton after the hearings. They had been up there in Rexburg. And, I mean, I knew that, but because there were some, anyways. So, um, when I saw Larry, I was like, he's looking like he needs, you know, a little haircut or something. I don't know. I'm kind of worried about him. Like, I worry ever since this happened. And you know, that's how I'm connecting is watching, you know, them unearth my nephew and Tylee from from shallow graves in Chad Daybell's backyard. And my parents are there, and I just want to be there. And I'm just like in love with the TV, you know, I'm just like connected. And that's how I was able to connect and stay connected and still be connected, is because of technology. Although it's not a big fan of mine. Technology and me do not get along, but we're becoming better friends. Yeah, me too, AJ. I just worry. I mean, he's older. He's 14 years older than my mom, and you know, I don't know. It's probably just me. You know, I can't help it. I worry about my parents. I worry how this affects them. I worry about my brother. I worry about everybody. Um, if I could protect them from hurt and pain, that's what I try to do. You know, now I registered and I was like, "Yeah, you can't do that, dummy. You know, you can't jump in front of people and physically protect them." But that was my first instinct. And it still is. I'm very not jealous, but I'm territorial. Only I can talk shit on my mama and my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you talk about my mom and dad. I that's a joke. But you know what I mean. Um, so it's just it's a shitty place to be put into. Um, I know that much. Like, nobody asked for this. Nobody nobody deserves this. This is torture. Really. I don't know which part of it, and I mean, I'm just trying to share with you guys kind of what it's like, I guess. But I remember when the kids were missing, and it was just such a very helpless feeling. Everything was so fast. Like, I really, literally do not remember a year of my life. It's gone. I'm just like, wait, I still have problems when Jason's reminds me of something that happened, and I'm like, when? What? Hmm? Gone. Done. Like, it's a blur. I try to think about it. I've tried to reflect on it, you know, and recall things, and not yet. If it ever comes back, you know, I don't know. But it was just fast, and you feel helpless. Um, but you do your due diligence to just get the word out. I got kicked out of my locked out of my account on Facebook because, again, you know, I never had to network socially like that, not on a massive scale, right? And so you want to get everything, you want to get that news out. You want to share the flyers of the kids. You you're just like, hey, you know, and you don't care. You don't. I would have sold my soul to the devil to just for them to be okay. That's uh, straight up. I still would. I would trade places with them anytime. Ugh. I just thought about the shark pajamas. Um, Yeah, I got chills. Hold on. Oh wow, that's different. Anyways, like whenever my mom buys pajamas for the kids every year. Now they're all getting pretty old, older kids, grandkids, and and the older kids get like gift cards or whatever. But anyway, so that's what she likes to do. That's what they do. They buy pajamas, robes, slippers, a couple pairs of pajamas, you know. And so I hadn't seen my parents and since I mean, it was very sporadic in between Uncle Charles's murder, you know, and when the story went public in December of 2019. And I mean, so it's like I talked to them often, but just never could, you know, just be normal, like normal pre Lori, you know, because it's like I knew immediately when Uncle Charles was murdered. I knew it was not. I didn't have to know the story. I was just like, no. And I flew into a fit of rage. And that's very not like me because I usually just kick things to the side and I'm just like, oh, well, you know, life will take care of them. And, yeah. Anyways, so I don't know. Life changed. Life in that moment, whenever I saw my mom and my daughter fly back, I say fly, drive very fast back into the parking lot. There was gravel and it was flying. And I was like, you know, my antenna were like, alert, 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 you know, like what the hell? Because they had just left and they come back and it was crazy. And so I've, there's, fight or freeze, whatever. And then there's wait, fight or flight, and then I learned that there's freeze, and that's what I do. I freeze. I'm just like, what's coming in? Incoming bad stuff. But I never would have imagined that. And Ashlyn, my daughter, ran up to me, and you know, we embraced each other, and I was like, you know what? Mom was on the phone with Cole, my cousin, and it just the doors were open. Just everything was just, you know, I can remember this. And Ashlyn was just like, Uncle Charles is dead. And I was like, what? And I don't even remember who said it, but one of me or Ashlyn said, oh my God, they killed him. You know, that was the second thing out of, I had to be my mouth, I guess. I don't know. One of us. I just remember that. And it was, life changed in that moment. And you can just, used to, I could look back and try to recognize life before and then after, after a while, you know, you cannot, I cannot. For the longest time, I would wake up and I would, you know how when you first wake up, you're just like, wait, is it 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.? You know, is it daylight or dark? Anyways, just trying to gather your thoughts, and I'd wake up and I would think to myself all the time, you know, did this really happen? Is it zombies? You know, and then I'd be like, yeah, zombies. Yep. And you're just, it's so, like Uncle Charles said, it's nonsensical. Holy crap. So it's very disturbing on many levels, as you know. And it's very different and odd. And I mean, I'm sure every family member who has had their loved ones murdered, I'm sure the circumstances aren't always peachy, you know, and they're not. Where I see I guess the benefit, not to say benefit, I don't really know how to word that, where I see it being, the cases being public is beneficial, is that every one of you are extensions to network together and just rally around the situation to try and find these babies, right? And this doesn't always have a happy ending. Like the little JJ boy the other day, I was like, oh my God, oh my God. But I was so happy. I don't even know. I was watching it live. They hadn't even got the chopper up yet, and then I had to change it because I was just like, is this triggering big time? Or just, I don't know. So I switched to Alec Murdaugh, you know. And anyway, so but I saw on the title after, a couple hours later, that they had found the little boy JJ in Florida, I believe. So I don't know how, but he was found alive, and I was like, oh, thank God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Whew. That's all I need to know. I hope he's fine and everything. But I read stories all the time of like there's this lady in Wyoming right now who's actually from Kenya, and she's missing. She's been missing for a year, and her family flew in from overseas, and I was just like, And it's like I want to invest in it, but then I don't know, Trey's on the case. But yeah, it's like you want to invest I want to invest myself, but I can't right now. Like I know my limits, so yeah, buddy. Yes, I'll do the Sand Willow. But yeah, Trace, I mean, let me go find the article real quick. And I mean, I haven't looked since because, again, I do all this stuff. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see. Let me show. I got to go share my screen. I didn't do that first. And so this is Justin. Justin, as I'll say. Justin Philip Carrier, 36, of Livingston, Louisiana, passed away tragically and unexpectedly at, oh, look at that, 1:44 a.m. I thought it was after 12:30 for sure. On Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, in his residence. Born June 23rd, 86, in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Justin graduated with honors in 2004 from LaGrange High School. I went there too, and attended Magny State University, where I went also. And Uncle Charles. He moved away from home and to the Port Allen, Baton Rouge area in 2012. Justin worked as an operator at Nutrina for a number of years. Justin loved spending time outdoors, doing both yard work and spending time with his children. He loved his children greatly and enjoyed coaching and supporting their activities and sports. Justin was a big guy. Yes, he was. With an even bigger heart. He never met a stranger and was loved by all who knew him. Justin is survived by his children, Josiah, Amelia, and Jack Carrier, mother Vicki Thomas, and Carrie, his stepdad, Mark Carrier, Sarah, brother Marcus. Marcus is the oldest. Sister Carly, she's the baby, so he was the middle. Anyways, uncles, cousins, all of us. The service to celebrate his life will be at 11 p.m. on Wednesday, March 1st, 2023 at Johnson Funeral Home. Everybody has their funerals at Johnson's Funeral Home. Except for Uncle Charles. We did a celebration of life at the Lake Charles Civic Center, which was hard to get a room. Usually, I don't know how that worked out or how we got a big not a ballroom, but anyways, they have different rooms in the Civic Center, and usually there's a waiting list. But anyways, neither here nor there. So my cousin Aaron right there. He's a sweet one. He's the one that took care of my mama the last couple of years of her life. But yeah, I mean, there are articles. Let me Google that up again. And this time not click on the first thing I saw. Shooting. Justin Carrier shooting. So I mean, it's not much as far as like the last time I looked. There wasn't a TV one or anything. Okay. Okay, so one man was found dead from a gunshot wound early Tuesday morning in Livingston, according to the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. Shortly after midnight, sheriff deputies were dispatched to Plantation Trace Drive, where they found Justin Carrier, 36, with a fatal gunshot wound, according to a news release. One woman was detained for questioning, Sheriff Ard said in a statement. Ard said the shooting appears to be a domestic incident. Deputies are still investigating the incident, according to the news release. So, anywho. Oop. I'm trying to copy this. Yeah. But thank y'all for the... I'm going to put this in the comments. So, that'll be done. But anyways, it's hard to... Can we get another 40? What? Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. It sucks because you know, I mean, firsthand, I know exactly how murder changes everything. And in my experience, and it changed me. It changed me. I would say it changed me for the better because, you know, I kind of, I've been a jerk. I've been an asshole. I have been the abuser. I've been the bully. I've been all those things. You know, hurt people hurt people. That's something I picked up when I used to look through Pinterest. You know, and it was a quote, and I was like, no kidding. Hurt people definitely hurt people, because when we hurt, you know, that's projection, right? You're not getting something, you know, where you're at or whatever from your foundation, from your home. And so, in my opinion, I'm not a professional. I'm just, of course, I don't I don't live under a rock either, you know. So it's hurt people, unfortunately, and it's just like it's a cycle that you have to break, just like everything else, you know. I mean, or things just continue, you know. And it's really awesome whenever you can start being aware of yourself and like just kind of be able to balance things out, reflect, and just kind of glean from it, and just try to be real with yourself. I know I'm not all the way real. I don't think anybody is, because we're not perfect. But I try to be as balanced as I can, you know. I'm human. I muck up. When I do it big, usually, you know. So this really changed me. It shook me to my core. It still does. It still bothers me. It still hurts. It still, I still, you know, look back and on memories or pictures of the kids and Charles and Tammy even. And I've never met Tammy or Joe. They're in my angel family. So they're all together in my heaven. Okay. Nobody gets to take that away from me. You know, that's the most empowering thing that my friend Jen taught me. Nobody gets to tell you how to grieve. And that means I don't get to tell nobody else how they should grieve. It's very empowering. It was for me. Um, I never thought of it like that. She brought it front and center, and I was just like, wow, you know, because I really didn't feel like I even had, I didn't feel like and I don't even know how to say this because it sounds so weird to me. So I'd reached out to uh, like a group here, a grief group here in my town. It was after the hurricanes. Hurricanes. Thank you, Beach Mom. Thank you. Your picture always reminds me of Tylee. I always say that too. Thank you. But I've reached out, and it takes a lot for me to even ask for help. I'm just not, I mean, not that I'm above it or anything. I just don't think about it. I'm just like, no, my mom was like that too. She'd say, let me show you how to mop. And then before she'd hand me the mop, which was never, she was showing me, so I was watching. I was watching her mop the whole damn floor. And so I was just like, okay. And I do the same thing. I tend to do things on my own, by myself, I'm just like that. And I do the same things with my kids, I'm just like, well, no, watch, I'll show you. And yeah, anyways. So reaching out is big, that's an effort, and you're like conscious of what's going on, and it's a decision. And so I reached out. I've actually and wasn't well versed in just even emailing people. Okay, that's how much behind the times I was in. It is what it is. You know, just being honest with you. And so I emailed the center or whatever, and just so happened to run across the email through all the, spam emails and everything. I saw that they had answered, and she was like, oh, I think she was a she. They said, we heard that it was a Lake area family, so sorry for your losses. But there's always a but. And this is one thing I will address and provide eventually, is that she said that you can only be a parent, a grandparent, or a sibling. And it didn't even register. That didn't even register in my mind at that time. It wasn't until months later, and I was like, hold up. As I orbited back around. Thank you, little brands. Thank you so much, girl. Love your profile picture. That's how I feel. Oh, Lord. Thank you. But I know that there's criteria and stuff that, especially foundations and stuff, and nonprofits there's guidelines. And I know that now. But when you're hurting, when you're in it, you know, I didn't know all those things, then. I just didn't feel valid. I didn't feel close enough, related enough, important enough to grieve. And when I realized that they had, what's that word? Whoa, my gosh. I mean, it's something I don't care for when somebody, not resents, but my words. It's a R, starts with a R. 1, 2, 3, go. Rejection. Rejection. I fear rejection. Straight up, from way back. Um, and so oftentimes I will try not to put myself out there. But then there comes a point where it's not about you. It's not about me. It's never been about me. But I've learned so much in this process. And I'm so grateful for these hard lessons, this difficult research, because that's what it is. It's difficult. Every freaking step of this journey is difficult. I mean, from just the simplest things to everything, the information, It's a double-edged sword. You want to know, but then you don't want to know. It's hard to prepare yourself for what's to come. Um, we'll never really truly know. So I really pray that they have a good case, a good solid case with good investigative work done on the evidence so that we can get through this and be done with it. I say be done with it. Be done with this portion of it, this part of it. Maybe we can lay the children to rest. You know, maybe we can finally have those memorial services where you can come if you can make it, and we can really pay our respects to them and give them a proper burial that they deserve, not just thrown in a hole or holes. Who knows? Yeah. Oh, y'all know. There's nothing easy about this process, but there's this, there's you guys, there's this community that we've built, and because of them, because of the because of the horrible death, their last year or two, for sure, the last couple months, I mean, just all that. Thank you, and thank you. I pray. Um, I've never. How do I say that? Like, thank you. Not that. Not how do I say thank you. Sorry, I'm kind of doing two thoughts at once. But how do you? It was hard to like put my finger on it. I couldn't put my finger on it. I just knew that something was not right. Never done this before. Do not. I'm not versed in legal ease. It's not easy. It's legal hard, whatever. And you know, I've always just learned from you guys. I've learned from YouTube channels. I've learned from reading things, uh, going and what is this word or this phrase, and then Googling that on up, right? And I mean, just one thing leads to another, to another, to another, to another, and it's just an endless cycle. And then I got to a point where I was just like, oh my God, I'm so thirsty for knowledge, like I'm just can't get enough. It's like I've never been a fan of reading. It's just not my thing. I used to fall asleep if it was longer than like an article. I have ADHD. It makes sense now. Wasn't diagnosed until I was an adult after I had children. Okay, so I mean that's hard. That's hard to kind of work around and then realize you've had it. And so comprehension for me was never my strong suit. I'd have to read it a couple times, for it to register. And still, and so knowing that, how I was, growing up and how I learned things. And then in this, there's things that repeat, they replay, um, interviews, things I've heard a bazillion. I mean, I've quoted from, I can quote verbatim pretty much these things that they've said. uh, Lori, Chad, Melanie Gibb, Melanie Posky, Zalema, all these people, you just I kind of memorized it. And, but then that's how my brain like kind of lines these patterns up. It's just, I don't know. A lot of us are like that. And, anyways, so it's been weird, it's just been a whole different kind of learning experience. And that's what makes me want to keep going, is because of this, the people I loved, that I love, not loved, love, that they were taken, they were stolen, they were robbed. We were robbed. We are still robbed. Then you start to, well, I keep saying, I always say you. This is just how I talk. I always do that to Jason too. But I mean me, you're going through this process. You start to, I reflect on things a lot, I need that alone time. Have also found that throughout this process too, just, you know, learning to take that I needed time alone with my thoughts. It's very loud in here, and yeah, a way to take some control when you're feeling helpless. It is true. That's true. Um, and then again, it's like you go through that whole, well, too much of anything is bad, right? And so with trauma, again, I'm not a professional, and so I'm a butcher this up. But with trauma and things that have happened in your past already, you've got all, and it's just like a snowball effect. And then these murders happen, and it shook me. It's I mean, for the longest time, and I still actually have bouts of it where I'm startled so easily. Like I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god. I have to like get my heart back in my chest but it used to occur all the time, all the time. Like it became a heated argument, between me and Jason, because I was just like, and I mean, I'm just trying to calm down, and I'm just like, no, you scared me, and he knew that it would scare me, but he would do it thinking that I was cured or something. I don't know, like it got better, and I'm like, no, nothing's changed. That still scares the crap out of me, or whatever. And so it's just been a big learning experience. A lot about myself, you know, a lot about myself. Um, and I, really just honestly didn't really have a voice growing up and throughout my life. And I found that here. And this is it's just very powerful, you know? It's so empowering and validating and gratifying. It's just such an accomplishment to actually work up the nerve to be on a live stream and actually have people show up, and not just show up one, but show up time after time after time after time, and just bond and then grow with you and work and walk next to you in lockstep throughout this entire process. You don't feel so alone, and you're here, and you're allowing me to talk. I'm so grateful. I really am. And if that's what I can help others to get, is their voice, sign me up, because to me it was the most impactful thing that I've gained, not lost, but I've gained in this. I've gained friends, friendships, a community of some hella good people. You guys are amazing. I found love. I found justice through understanding. I found a safe place. I found my voice, and I'm still finding it. It's really humbling. Yeah, it's just very humbling, and I appreciate you for that. I really do. Thank you. And that's really, really special. It's a whole. That's something I definitely don't want to say in the victims. Impact statement? Finally, thank you, Mary. I'm here too. I can't wait to be here or be more available. That's my problem. I hate that. Because you guys, y'all, I read your comments and stuff, and and your emails, and there's there's only me, and I'm me. And, I want to read them all, and I want to respond to every single one, because I'm like, my thing is just match. I've always been one that's like, match my effort. That's all. I'm not asking you to be better or worse. Just match my effort, right? So I just, I'm a whole ass, and so I want to, if I can't engage and respond with a whole ass comment, that invested just as much as you did, then I tend to just say no. I'll do it whenever I can, when I can totally focus on that. So it's just, yeah, I'm doing that whole insanity thing, I think. Doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. So I need a better system. But again, work in progress. There's a lot to this on so many levels. Y'all know the onion layers. This thing is, I mean, it just goes and goes and goes and hurts. The ripple effect, I don't know where that ends, It causes a tsunami somewhere else. And I mean, if I feel like if we don't get the upper hand, oh, I say the upper hand, but if we don't get control of this big ugly thing, then it's going to continue, and that bothers me. If Because it's happened before, Tylee and JJ and Charles and Tammy and Joe. It's happened before. It's happened this week. Murder in my family. I mean, what the hell? Not going to ask rhetorical questions. And I was doing it, and I was like, no, don't. But, I mean, this is reality. And, I mean, actually, my uncle Larry, back when I was 8 years old, I had, he was a bit of a drinker. And my other uncle, he's my Uncle Earl, who died in a plane crash in 2001 in Joplin, Missouri. But anyways, my Uncle Larry, he was the fun uncle. Like, oh my God, he was just so fun. Fun. He'd play and just kid at heart, big kid. Make you some, he'd make us some, the big refrigerator cardboard boxes. And then, he made us a little cardboard house. Things like that. Just fun. Good, innocent fun. Good, clean fun. But anyways, me and Mom and my dad, Todd wasn't born yet, but my mom was pregnant. And we lived in Austin, Texas. And that's when I spent a lot of time with Uncle Charles. And anyways, I remember us having to just get home, or I say home, get back to Lake Charles, because Uncle Larry was in the hospital. And I didn't understand things too much then, but I remember a lot from then. And well, anyways, my Uncle Earl was a DEA agent, and he was on his way home. And so the street I grew up on, the road I grew up on, we all lived there. Okay, like this whole side was Trahan side, the whole family, second cousins, first cousins, mama, just, yeah, the whole one side of the street. And anyways, so I remember showing up at Mama's house, and I had this popular doll back then. But anyways, I remember her. She had purple. I don't remember the name of the doll. But anyways, and we showed up, and Uncle Larry died. Gunshot wound to the head, 3 parts of his brain. Sorry. As I said it, I was like, I didn't trigger warning that. Sorry. Oh, big puppet show. That's cute. Innocent, But anyway, so when my Uncle Earl was on his way home from work, and this allegedly, I guess, I don't know. Again, there's, they're both dead now. So anyways, my Uncle Larry had a tenant that rented from him, and he was, I don't know the story. I was 8 years old, and he was pissed off. The tenant pissed him off, did something, pissed him off. And so my Uncle Earl went by to see my Uncle Larry to calm him down, and so my Uncle Earl had his holster on, right? And it's allegedly, I don't know, but uh, I've been told that my Uncle Larry pulled the gun out, but they fought over the gun. The gun went off as they were struggling over it. And anyways, so a couple of days later, they pulled him off life support, and he died. That was big. Oh, thank you, Detective's daughter. Oh, a list of food. Woohoo! Thank you. I will, because it got real today. Kathy was like, "Okay," and I was like, "Oh my God!" I started to think about things. When I get off here, that's what I'm going to be doing, is tripping. Oh, kinda. It's close. That's scary, right? It's both. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, my uncle, thank you, Detective Stoddard. I will, promise. Um, yeah, so my uncle Earl could have potentially pulled the trigger, or my uncle Larry did. We don't know. And but I mean, from what I was told, my entire, from the time I was 8 years old, is that um, Uncle Larry pulled the gun out the holster. The gun went off because they were struggling over it. My Uncle Larry was drinking. My Uncle Earl was just getting off work as a DEA agent. And that sucked. I remember, like I can picture now, I can reflect back and just see everybody crying, you know, just kind of look back in your memories, and it was a sad, sad time. And it really hurt my mama. She buried, she just died in January. She was 91, and she basically was like a mother to me. And oh, anyways, um, it's crazy. Whew. I haven't dealt with things, and it's hard to deal with new things when old things, you're still working through these things, and it just kind of piles on top of each, it started piling. It was Uncle Charles, and then it was the kids, or the kids missing, um, and then my doctor of 30 years, he died. That was a blow right there. Um, and then my dad died, and then Mandy, and then, my mama and Justin now, and others. I wouldn't go to funerals. The only one I went to was my mama's, and I mean, I made myself go. It's not really, it's not fun. When I was a kid, we used to run around in the funeral home, and that was like, they'd come in from Dallas and Austin and everywhere, and I mean, we would just run amok, right? Because I haven't seen my cousins in forever, and this time it was just so different, being the age that I am now, the age that they are now, and it's just like, how the hell did we get here? When the hell did we get here? And why do we look so bad? um, but I don't know. I guess it's just makes us tough, right? We have each other. My mama, she buried her husband of 45 years, never remarried. She had 7 children total. She lost 2 stillborn boys. So her and my papa raised 5 boys, and she buried my Uncle Larry, then she buried my Uncle Earl, and then she buried my dad. She buried her sisters and her brother, her parents, her in-laws, cousins, she's her grandchildren. She got to meet JJ a couple times. She JJ was the only my brother's only child, and Mama always asked about him, and Uncle Charles. She always asked about Charles, always. And this is, my mom had divorced my dad, right? So my mom was my mom's daughter-in-law, but ex-daughter-in-law, right? But she always asked about JJ. She always had a picture of JJ, a latest picture of JJ taped to her desk, on my side where I'd sit and help. I worked for her, with her rental business. And, that was my dad who died in April of 2021, April 23rd. JJ was his only grandson, and he never got to meet him. And it bothers me, it just didn't go as you would think, when I was growing up. I always wanted to be an aunt, I have aunts and uncles, and I have a lot of them. And with step family and everything, it's even bigger. It's just more people to love, and more people that love you. And my love for people, it knows no boundaries. It's I love. What's wrong with that? It's hate that's the problem. I've been like that before. I've been miserable. I've made people miserable, with the toxicity and the negativity, and it's just because I was hurting inside. And 2 years ago, 96. Wow. Yeah. My great grandmother, which was Uncle Charles's, that was his grandma. He loved his grandmother, which was my great grandmother. Lilia Vallow was her name. Lilia Romero Vallow. She was so sweet and just so gentle, and she always was put together, for her age. She had like cataracts, that was it, towards the end of her life, she couldn't see that well, and so she always kissed on the lips too. I was just like, oh, okay. All right. But that was my grandma, always like that, and she have like no top lip, and she has some big old fluffy lips, and she always had her makeup done, and she was just put together, right? And she always decorated her little apartment, and I mean, big time, She was just a very loving woman. And so, anyways, I don't even know where I was going with that, but she was 92. 92 when she passed away. And it's like within a week we found out that she had colon cancer, and it was quick, We did get to I did get to take a 5-generation picture when we got my son christened in the Catholic Church. Whatever. It was, me and Mom and Zach and my papa Vallow, Leland Vallow, and then my great grandmother Lilia Vallow. And so I do have that. That's not a lot of people get that. So I'm blessed. I have extended family and step moms and stepdads. It's just, I don't know. I never looked at it as a negative thing or anything different than the relationship I have with my brother, my mother, my dad. my daughter, it's just love is love. For me, anyways. There's no condition. It's just good. But anyways, I am so not talking about Mike Stroud at all. But he is boring. I get it. However, I need to get off my tangents. But thank y'all for the nice things that y'all said. Welcome, Ina. Good to have you here. I look after my dad, who will be 91 next Tuesday. Well, happy birthday to your dad from everybody here at Difficult Research. Thank you for being here. Yeah. And you too, Humanimal. I watch your channel too. I like your take on things. I really do. Oh, she would, US Kiwi 1986 said she would still walk to the OTB to place her bet on the number 6 horse. So I always bet on number 6 for the Preakness Kentucky Derby and Belmont Stakes. That's really cool. There's a lot to learn from the older generation. I have, so many lessons, and they, it's like, I don't know if it's just grandparents in general or just my grandparents. It kind of seems to be the pattern that happens, because like, like even with my parents, when they're around the grandkids, they're somebody. I'm like, who the hell are you? You didn't bake cookies, and things like that. And it's just, hi, Eli or Ellie. I forget. I think it's Ellie, Eli. I don't know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the hug. Hugging you back. But yeah, it seems like grandparents just really, maybe it's like a chance to do all the things with your grandkids that that you regret not doing with your kids. Or I don't know. I'm not a grandparent yet. But that's about what I can take from it, I'll have to let y'all know whenever that happens. My son, he's 23, so whew, I'm grandma age. That's crazy. I'm just like, oh wow. I loved my grandparents. So much to learn. My grandmother used to call me my grandma Bootsy. Her name was Dorothy, but Grandma Bootsy. She would call, or I'd call her on Saturday mornings for sure, and we'd play. She said she'd really move around. I don't know, but I'd made up a game or whatever, and I was just like, guess where I'm sitting? Okay, so we'd play that, and so would literally move around with the corded phone, and guess where I'm sitting, and, oh, you're sitting, whatever. That's what we did. And she would sing songs and Easter songs, Thanksgiving songs, and I'm blessed. That's just, I don't know. There's just so much. And I really did think with my grandma Bootsy, she was, she didn't have a husband at the time when I was growing up. And she wore a Kenny Rogers, like a t-shirt, but she would sleep in it. And this is how gullible I am, right? I'm a kid. And I thought that was my grandfather, because she was like, oh, that's my boyfriend, or, that's your grandfather or whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay. Straight up thought Kenny Rogers was my grandfather at one point. Gullible. But I do it to my kids too, so it's fun. Yeah. Oh, thank you, just me. I ended up just talking, sharing my feelings. It happens like that sometimes. Some people get upset, but it's a live stream. I follow my heart. I follow the chat, the vibe of it. Maybe some things that need to be said. Maybe some things that it definitely helps me for sure to kind of take some of this off, like open that pressure relief valve a little bit and just kind of let it out. Because there are times, and I mean, I don't, it's crazy. I mean, not a fan of crying, but I don't think it's bad to cry. I think that I feel relief whenever I cry. If I'm crying, I'm pissed, I'm hurt, and it's built up, right? And so there are times when it just you're gonna blow or you're gonna implode. One, it's not gonna be good. And it just gets to a point where I don't know. It's like I don't know till I start talking and end up in my feelings and sharing things, and then it makes you remember other things. And yeah, so this has kind of been one of those times, and it helps. It helps. I don't want to carry anger. I don't want to carry resentment. I don't want to carry hate. I don't, because that's poison for me. That poisons me, and then I would project it onto everybody else. That's not good. And I tell my bonus son Silas, he's 7, and there are times, when he's the baby, and he just starts to cry, or he would start crying, and the kids are like, oh, my other bonus kids, or our kids, they'd be like, stop crying or whatever. And I'm like, buddy, it's okay. If you need to cry, you're safe. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel. It's okay to say how you feel. It's okay to speak. It's okay to have a voice. It's okay to have a bad day, And I've learned that in all this. And I'm so glad that I'm able to see it in action, I guess you can say, with him, for sure. And the other ones too, Right, T.S. Jackson. I hate crying. I get a sore throat, stopped up nose. I'm only relieved when I finally get nostril free again. You gotta lay different sides. Right. But like, thank you for bringing me back to that point. It's like there are times, like the past few times I cried, I felt like if I would actually let it all out, like if I would allow it out, I feel like I would physically not be able to contain it. Like it's weird. It's like I can't let it all the way out because I don't think I would live, if that makes any sense. That's how intense and how deep it is. It's that soul cry, just that. And it's needed though for me, because like I said, it's like a pressure relief valve. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Janet. It's about family. It is, and I didn't appreciate my family until this happened. I mean, just being dead honest with you, I've always just kind of been rogue. I valued family, but I didn't appreciate them. I took them for granted. And you don't always have a tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not saying I changed overnight, because I'm still like, I just kind of stay to myself. It's just who I am. And but I definitely love it. Just made me find a new appreciation and understanding of what love is, and showing it how important it is to not just say it, but you have to follow that up with action, right? You can say I love you without ever saying the actual words. You show it by the action, your actions, your interactions with people in the grocery store, in the, you know, in McDonald's, whatever, anybody you cross paths here, you cross paths with. You never know what you never know. I don't know what you're going through. And I mean, I'm telling you some things, but we're not in each other's shoes. All I can do is give you my perspective. You can give me yours. And that's about it, And it makes you feel like you're not alone in this world, which is good because it gets kind of lonely, right? That's me. VC. Many people turn that grief into creativity. Think of how much you have learned about research and video production. Oh my God, right? A lot. I used to be a creative person and I was physical. I do miss that. I miss being interested and I miss like just going and opening my Pinterest app and just scrolling and just finding projects and screenshotting those because, that's what I did. And I got into the whole palette thing, right? I got picked on at work so many times. There was that meme that went around and it was just like somebody threw a bunch of palette boards and they're like, look what I made with palettes. And I'm like, don't be a jerk. Funny though, right? Because it's funny. But I saw this like outdoor, sectional sofa made out of pallets, and it was on like Donkey Kong ever since. And I mean, I still have some that I can burn because I don't build anything anymore. I don't do things anymore. And that's just what got me into it. That was my gateway. And and I used to decorate. And this is another thing that's interesting that might help kind of put things into perspective. Is how Chad and Lori were living in that high dollar whatever in Hawaii. It was expensive. Let me Google that up. Oh shoot. Oh, I almost just closed this thing out. Oh my God. Let me not do that again. Condo. Hawaiian resort. Let's see. Okay, so it was like $700 something thousand, right? And okay, so I remember back in the day, this was like 2007, 2008 ish, and we moved, like me and Mom and my two kids, Ashlyn and Zach, and at that time I was engaged, to an ex. But anyways, and so we moved to this house in Houston, and it was like it was a program that you do, and it didn't show you all the freaking page. What the hell? I'm over here thinking I was sharing on my screen. Anyways, it's not relevant, but it's this program that you get into, and it's like a network of realtors and interior designers, interior decorators who stage homes for sale that are for sale. So we lived in a 6,000 square foot mansion. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it a damn mansion because it had like 3 living rooms, media room. It had an elevator. Okay, me and my son would ride the elevator up and down with the lights off, just to make it fun. I couldn't find my kids. I would use the intercoms and I would just be like, oh my God, where are you at? And it was nuts. It was nuts, but it was fun. It was a different experience. And so basically what you do is you sign um, a contract or whatever, and you move into the home that's for sale. Okay. So while that home is for sale, the designer comes out and, consults, I guess, with the me, let's say me, I'm the one moving in, and she just kind of assesses everything and the things that you have as far as furnishings and things like that. And then she has a warehouse or you rent. So that's where that whole rental furniture stuff comes in with Lori all the time. That's what they did a lot. They would move into these homes that were for sale. And it's like I got hired by the one who came and decorated our house. She was like, "Oh my God, you really have an eye for this." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because we stayed up when she came to decorate our house in Houston, and she was like, "You're really gifted." And I was like, "Okay, I just rearrange a lot, whatever." But so she was like, "Come work for me," and I was like, "Okay." I hated Houston. I am small town girl, obviously, because I mean, if I have to use a GPS just to go to Walmart or whatever, I'm good. Like I went to get out of a at the convenience store one day, and I left the vehicle running. Mom was like, you don't do that here." I was like, "Why?" That's what I'm saying. I'm just that kind of small town. And so, yeah. But I did. I went and worked with her, and we worked on these, multi-million dollar high rises, and just it was fun. It was fun, and I mean, I learned that I was really creative, and that staging a home, you don't use religious artifacts, so well, that cancels Lori out. I'm kidding, but because but you also had like a 2-hour window when they would have a showing. The realtor would call and she'd say, "Hey, I have an appointment at 6 p.m. or whatever." And so for 2 hours, you go get lost. Okay, so you got to go find something to do. You just got to get out of Dodge. And then you come back and you live your best life. All you do is pay your utilities, your, cable, things like that, lawn, main, whatever that is. But it's way less than, you know, anyways, it's just really cool. It's a neat little program. And then I actually started or tried to start my own business here, but Lake Charles is like 10 years behind times all the time. And the first house I staged here, and I named it Show and Sell. And I went and only had to do the bottom floor, which was good. I had to stage the bottom floor, moved everything in, and then it sold. The house had been on the market for 2 years. And when I moved everything in, it had sold within 2 days. I had to move everything back out, and then that contractor was so happy signing that check. But I was just like, oh my God, I hate moving. I hate moving. Hey, I loathe. Mm-mm. No, it sucks. Um, Anyway, so it never really took off. But I mean, yeah, definitely wanted to do that. And but anyway, so that's who got introduced Mom into it, was Uncle Charles and Lori. You know, they had lived in this house in Hawaii, which I never went because I wasn't getting my ass in a plane. I definitely wasn't going over the water back then. So me and Kathy were talking earlier, right? And I'm like, oh my God, this will be the first time I fly by myself to go to Boise, right? Oh my God, I'm a little nervous. I've only flown twice since the murders, for sure. The two times I went to Rexburg. So I don't know. Just have to suck it up. But anyways, that's coming up this fast. Uh, Anyways, it's starting to sink in. So yeah, it goes back to that's how they lived in those higher dollar homes. There was one in Hawaii, in Kauai, before Chad, and it was a program like that. I remember seeing the virtual 360, of that house. Ashlyn stayed there for 2 weeks. My daughter. Man, I wanted to just be like, what did she tell you? What did she tell you? Did she tell you were special? But you can't do that to your kid who's already traumatized because her uncle was murdered. And I mean, I've got pictures of her and Tylee playing golf, putt-putt, and things like that. So, anyways, and then Uncle Charles, JJ, Tylee, I didn't want to traumatize her any more than already. So I just let her know that it's okay to talk. It's okay to feel. It's even okay to feel things about Lori, good and bad. It's okay, because that doesn't change us, like, because of what she did. That doesn't change. I mean, it changes a lot of things, but you still have to process those feelings, those emotions. You've got to be able to put them somewhere, and I would say correctly. And so in this aspect, I miss Lori, because that person that walked into the courtroom that day, I don't know who that is. So in my mind, she died. That person died. I don't know if that's just how it works for me. I just cut the cord, nothing. There's times when I feel empathy. I feel empathy for a lot of people, and compassionate. I don't know. Sucks to be her. I know that much. I do wonder, not that she does, but this is because this is how I am. I'm a highly spiritual being, and um, anyways, I get into my feelings, and doesn't mean that I don't think and I don't have a brain, because I do. I just kind of read the room a little bit, so to speak, and it's just different. It's different. That person that I knew as my aunt, that's a shell. Her body is a shell of what used to reside in there. If I know that's really weird, but it's that whole projection thing, because they projected onto Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. She character assassinated the shit out of him, which is a common pattern theme in like-minded people. I don't know how to put that. It's the persecution complex, the victimhood, and I'm not saying everybody, but with these people, every one of them, they flip it, and they're so good at it. They the way Melanie Gibb, she would, talk, and then it's like she would just skirt that line where you're like, oh, nope, she didn't quite say it, and I'm like, how the hell? I don't even think, to me, it's a learned behavior. It's got to be like just in the culture or something. And it all goes back. I've been studying hard into the lying for the Lord stuff. Good night, Trace or USA Kiwi. Thanks for being here. Narcissist. Right. Narcissist. Narc. Big time. Projection. That the whole silent treatment, that's abuse. There's so many patterns, and it runs thick. Theocratic warfare. I like that. I don't like it, but I like the term. That is one good way to sum it up, huh? Yeah. Theocratic warfare. Exactly. That's very good. I like that. Thank you. Um, it's a whole, and it goes back to Mountain Meadows Massacre. I didn't want to learn all this stuff. I was like, I don't really, I just want to get to the bottom of things. But in order to get to the bottom of things, guess what I had to do? I had to, oh, well, that was a JW called Lying for the Lord. Well, it makes all the sense in the world. um, but the Mountain Meadow, yeah, I didn't want to learn all these things. I was just like, president? Who? When was he a president? I used to know the presidents by heart. I could name every one. Cities and states too, or you know what I mean, capitals, things like that. Um, and then this happened, and I was like, and I even have people in my comments, and they're like, when was who's President Nelson? And I'm just like, gag, gag, gag. I'm laughing my butt off. Oh, thank you, Allison. Thank you. It's good to have you here. Mm. You should come on sometimes, Allison. I actually ran across something you had sent me a while back about Uncle Charles. And I was like, oh, you're welcome anytime. Yeah, that was, she knew my uncle really well. And good, nice stories. And she's given us pictures of him when he was younger. And just, he had a good judge of character when it came to her. So I'm glad you're here. And thank you. But yeah, it's nuts. I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about? The private powwows they're having, right? I don't want them. I feel like if they settle, this ain't no damn insurance casualty, car wreck. No. I don't want a Chris Watts happening. But then I don't know. But then I heard that my parents, they were like, I don't really know. I don't want them to settle. I want them to have to be embarrassed. I want them to have to, no, I don't even know if they'd be embarrassed, but you know what I mean? Like, face the music, air it out, bring it to the light, Carol Ann. Disinfect the hell out of it, expose that darkness, that evil shit, because that zombie, because that's what they turned into, in my opinion. That's what I was trying to say earlier, but never finished. What they were doing to dehumanize and detach and distance themselves from Tylee, from everybody, from JJ, Charles, Tammy. That's a way to put distance between you and that person, so you're not as connected. That way you can be, I guess I'm just assuming, that way you can distance yourself and murder someone that you cared for, and you it just doesn't make any sense. Now, okay, riddle me this. No, this is something that I was like, this is something to look into. Now, as far as I know, Canva, I use my Canva app for a lot of things. A lot. I'm in there a lot. And I remember seeing a while back, just, because I'm saying it, it'll probably show up on my algorithm. That's how this works, If I say toenails, it'll show up. And you best believe it. Well, so somehow I ended up seeing, I like documentary type YouTube videos, and it just auto plays on my TV. And I remember knowing or learning that the Canva started in Australia, and I was like, okay, it's just, I don't know, one of them things I just held on to. And I really enjoy the platform. I haven't even gotten to branch out into it because, I'm extra. I work on things to show y'all here, and then I never show them. So it's this game I play. Um, so there's this new feature, and it's got Canva Docs, and let me see if it's open because I think it's fascinating. And so I went into the Canva Docs, and you can type in. Oh, I'm opening it right now. It's called Magic Write, and I don't know. Hopefully, that's not it. That's the one I just opened. Damn it. Okay, let me try and find the one that I had. Oh, here it is. So, all right, let me share this, and let me go hide myself like that, so you can actually see the damn thing this time. Okay, and so what I did was you go in and you hit this little click, this plus button like this, and I started like asking. I'm sorry, it's this one. You can ask like up to 200 characters. It'll help you. Like I put in Church of the Firstborn. Actually, I just put Church of Firstborn. Okay. I had fun with this sucker. Oh, I forgot. I didn't change my font. Anyways, and so, so I went down this whole rabbit hole the other night. Okay. I just started asking it things, kind of like Googling, but not. And it's interesting because what came up for a lot of these people is weird. I mean, I haven't checked further into it, but let me just say this. When I typed in Lori Vallow, let me see if it'll do it now. It didn't come back. It came back with a red, warning. Like it said it's too controversial. I put, who is Lori Vallow? And what it came back for Chad was something polar opposite. Oh my God, this is going to suck. Oh, that's the most it's said, actually. I can't believe it's different. Lori Vallow is a woman from Idaho who is currently in police custody in connection with the disappearance of her two children, Joshua Vallow and Tally Ryan. It is believed that she may have been involved in some kind of criminal activity. Although the precise details of the case are still under investigation, she has been charged with multiple felony counts, including 2 counts of desertion and non-support of her children. Oh, goodness. Sorry. She is currently being held in the Madison County Jail. Oh, my gosh. I hate allergies, okay? I'm sure y'all do too. Dang. Anyways, and so I just kind of went down this list, right? And I was like, and they put, hi there, the Odd Church of the Firstborn is a non-denominational Christian church that strives to create an atmosphere of fellowship. So this is actually a bio for, I'm sorry, I gotta go cough. I have to clear my throat. I'm not on that screen where I can mute myself, and I don't trust my microphone because every time I say I'm going to do it, I hit the button and it never mutes me. So anyways. All right. So this one is just a bio for a church called the Odd Church of the Firstborn, I guess. I don't know. And so I started typing in like Mormon offshoot. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the main branch of the Latter-day Saint movement. This is what came back when I put in this, which includes a number of offshoot denominations. The largest of these offshoots include the Community of Christ, which in my opinion is it's way more Christian. It's more Christian-like than the actual mainstream Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's why whenever somebody says mainstream now, I'm like, what is mainstream for you? I want to know that. because it's not my definition of mainstream. Yeah, that word bothers me. The fundamentalists, that's the FLDS, which is known for the polygamy, right? Ervil LeBaron, oh crap, what's that other dude? Y'all know him. The weird, creepy dude. Aren't they all weird and creepy? But anyways, I can't. Warren Jeffs. Okay. And the Church of Christ with the Elijah message. Each of these offshoots are distinct from the LDS Church in terms of beliefs and practices. No, they're not, in my opinion. All they're doing is what the others are allegedly doing, just lying for the Lord. That's all I can say. They had to disavow, and that's air quoted, disavow polygamy because they couldn't be accepted into the United States. They couldn't become their own state. Utah couldn't. So even after the United States was formed or whatever, the unions, and I don't know all the lingo, but it took like 6 years after all that for Utah to even become a state, and in my opinion, it's, if y'all been following this case, and if you've been here with me, then the church it doesn't like being in a negative light at all, at all. But it's a very powerful and a very, I'm a borrow Ron Hensley's term, corporate Jesus. Thank you, Ron. I was like, that's poetic also. Corporate Jesus. It's a institution, and it's a very wealthy institution who just got caught with his hand in a cookie jar. I shared the story with you guys the other day about the SEC, Stock Exchange Commission, and how the church had not paid, whatever it is. I can't think of the name. They hadn't paid. I'm lost. Anyways, it's just something to do with, they made a couple companies, shell companies or whatever, not the actual shell company, but like fake, and then got people to man them basically, and like sign signatures and say that they were the voice for such and such shell company. And to me, I mean, I'm not very well versed in this, but I kind of can see it, but I just can't speak it, and I don't want to speak and get myself, shot and or sued, which, I mean, they'd be very disappointed. But anyway, so yeah, the whole, from 1997 until 2000, and I actually have the order right here. Hold up just a second. That way I can at least read, because that's what I did. I went to sec.gov, and I've read it from there, and it's a little bit different than what the news, press release, the press has released. And I mean, the sec.gov, I mean, it's not like they're out to get anybody. You know what I mean? Like, the church did this knowingly, did not disclose its earnings they didn't report, kind of like, I can't find the damn order, or I can't see. Oh, hopefully, yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. So, United States of America. Okay. It says the SEC Exchange Act of 1934. This was from a whistleblower, which he'll get a percentage of these, the fines, which is a lot of money. It's like $1 million from the church, and then Ensign Peak Advisors was the company that, dealt with the money for, representing the church. But the church knowingly I'll read. All right. And so this is an order instituting cease and desist proceedings pursuant to Section 21C of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, making findings and imposing a cease and desist order. And it's to Ensign Peak Advisors and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so it says the Securities and the SEC deems it appropriate that cease and desist proceedings be and hereby are instituted pursuant to Section 21C of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 against Ensign Peak Advisors, Inc. and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, parentheses, they put respondents. In anticipation, this is number 2, in anticipation of the institution of these proceedings, respondents have submitted offers of settlement. That's the pattern. That's something that the church has done when it's gotten sued from covering up the SA. Those stories that I know there's so many more, and the Vice story that, I had learned from when that whole helpline thing came out. This was before MK's story that came out, less than a year ago, but still, it was on Vice, and it's how the church allegedly, I have to say it, allegedly covers up sex abuse via this helpline, which, in my opinion, and many of you think this also, and can see it also, that it's set up for the perpetrators. It's set up to protect the predators and to silence the victims, because it's like they're told to keep it within, right? Just like they did in Rexburg when they sent out that letter saying to the Henry Fort stake, just a reminder, just, you don't go to the cops, you come here. You don't get involved in all that messy stuff. You come here, to your ecclesiastical leaders, in-house. And to me, that's obstruction of justice, because it had to have intimidated, harassed, made people scared to come forward. And there were babies missing. That's gangster right there. That's straight. That's that Mormon Manson type shit. Okay. And it's gross. So, I mean, shame on them just for that. That's one little drop in the bucket of too many to count at this point. That church it failed these victims for sure. And I really feel, and from the work that I've done, the stuff that I have investigated intensely, researched for 4 years straight now, every single day, 4 years straight, just about every waking moment. I need to take more to myself, but it's worth it. I can't stop, because I know I'm on to it. I know I am. It lines up. It confirms and validates so many things. So it fills in a lot of the blanks for me. I really feel like, allegedly, my theory is that the church uses this like-minded people type. Sorry, let me come out of here. Uses the like-minded people. Hi, are you like-minded people? Yes, I am like-minded people. Oh, well, we are people that have like minds. They embrace that shit. They embrace the whole, what is a cult, like-minded people. They embraced it. That says a lot right there. The boldness, the in plain sight, right in front of your face. They will do it. They've done it. They're doing it right now. I'm just saying. White camps, yes. it all goes back. There's more Chad and Lori's. Okay. Now Chad and Lori got a little ego trip, but they were invited. This is my theory. This is all hypothetical. So this like-minded system, this like an MLM also, same thing, same system. It's set up this way. And it's very clever. It's very clever because anybody who hides behind Jesus Christ and does wicked shit is a whole nother level of oh my God. That's what caught my attention to begin with when I heard the word cult come out of my uncle's mouth. And I'm like, what's his face? I always forget it. Manson. He didn't kill anybody. I didn't know a damn thing about cults. I didn't know influence and mind control. I didn't know. And I mean, there's so much to learn and delve into. However, I have learned a lot. And there was a time in all this, about when I started my channel and I started to share things, nobody would acknowledge Chad and Lori as a cult. And it disturbed me so bad. Like, I got pissed. I was so mad. Because I'm like, why are you're calling her cult mom, you're calling her mommy doomsday, you're calling her this, you're calling her that. And there ain't no damn cult. Okay? Why aren't y'all saying there's a cult? I didn't even realize at that time what that entailed, until I did my research, and now I know. I mean, we all know, right? And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just late to the game. Maybe everybody else already knew. But then why do people separate it? Why do people not say that they're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And why would it benefit the church? Why would the church want us all to, separate Chad and Lori from them? Who does it benefit? What's the end game, right? And that's how these offshoots happen. Right there. No. Distance. There's excommunications that go on all the time. And then they get, I call it recommunicated, because they let them right back on in. Abraham Gigliotti. Alex freaking Cox. There you go. Twice. What the hell was he doing in temple parking lots? And why can't we see the video footage? Oh, it's protected by the First Amendment, where you write your taxes off and then abuse people with it. And you save it up in a rainy day fund where your members don't know about it. But yet you don't want to disclose it because, loose quote here, because you don't want your members to think that you're that rich and they'll stop paying their tithing. Oh, I mean, they have more money than God at this point. And that church is powerful. Look at Scientology. This is the richest church. The Mormon Church is more wealthier than Scientology. Then it's the wealthiest church in America right now, and it's like third down in the world. So, what does a church need? Why do they need that much power and influence and greed? Follow the prophet with an F. Just me. And it does put the eyes all on them, and it should. They have to, like Lori told Melanie Gibb, you have to be accountable, So do they, because they are producing this bullshit. No. Yeah, bullshit. Not they'll have to murder me. That's not a challenge. But that's what it will take. That's, because I'm not going to shut up because it's wrong and it's not isolated. It didn't just, happen in this one instance by a freak accident because people were just, they couldn't discern evil spirits, that no. Oh, having lived here and gone to church when I was little, they believe this. They don't see it as a cult. They do see it as lying for the Lord, etc. They are brainwashed. And it's so sad, right? They don't even know. I don't think that they know because I sit here and I study Mike Stroud. I know Mike Stroud. He don't know me. Well, maybe now, but because I started getting comments from another Stroud, and I was like, "Oh Lord, here it comes." um, but my thing is, there were 2 kids missing. There were 3 dead spouses in the wake, and then a dead brother of Lori. There's this whole national and international story going on within your church community, the Mormodor, and you know so much. And this is from Mike Stroud's perspective. Mike Stroud, November 16, 17, and 18 of 2018, they had a Preparing a People Mesa event, conference, whatever. It was a Mesa event, and it was Mike Stroud. I have that video up of Mike Stroud. I thought it was the weekend that they met, but then we come to find out that it was October 26th when they met. However, according to the infamous Reddit email, that was September. It says they met technically September 23rd, 2018, at a Preparing a People. I got it memorized. Preparing a People Mesa event. Around that time, Chad was told by one of the 3 Nephites that Mathoni, that a special woman would come into his life. Uh, I can't think of the rest. But anyways, it goes hand in hand. And so the way that Chad and Lori met and just started plotting, that's weird all in itself. I have never. It's taken me years just to pass gas, in front of my significant other. Just saying. But yet you're gonna plot red rumming your families together in your portal? Are you kidding me? No, it's bigger. There's something more. And there's a reason this like-minded network happens. I've found things. I have found so many things. There's not enough hours in the day. This could be just a 24/7 live stream. We can just go over the things that I've found and that I piece together. I study them, I read them over again, and I'm like, well, and there's a bigger picture, and it fills in more and more and more as we go. Right now I'm back here looking at my Canva app, and I'm looking for the like-minded people. Which one is this? Hold on. Just like the rest of my files, I don't hardly name anything, so I'm just like, huh? Let me try. Like-minded people. Because I have... Oh, I know where I gotta go. I'll go to my photos. No, my photos. It's so different on a computer desktop, right? Y'all know I'm my phone. That's like an extension of my hand. Oh, where's my folder? I'm sorry. projects. Oh, right there. Got it. Weird. Switch to photos. Let's see. Photos. Weird. Okay, I thought it would be faster than this, but it's not, obviously. Home. Oh, now it's got them. Okay. It wasn't there before. Okay. Oh, because I just ran across them again, and I really do. I'm never going to share them if I don't do it right now, so that's the only reason I'm pressing on. I know it's way beyond the 2-hour mark, but we only have like, a little bit of time that we could do this before the trials start, and then it's going to be crazy. I'm still going to, y'all know I'm still going to go live. Every chance I get. Best believe it. I'd planned on doing that a long time ago. I'm not a reporter. I'm not here to, be all professional and shit. I'm just going to tell you like I see it. Kind of what I do. Come on. I got a lot of crap in here. Oh, and I found like Brandon Boudreaux and Melanie Pulowski's basically the affidavit for them. I was like, ho, ho, ho. But yeah, so while I'm kind of looking, I'm going to talk to, say that, let me show y'all. As I go, I'll show y'all some other things along the way. Might as well. Present. All right, present, share. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Okay. Well, so the other day, I Googled on up Mike Stroud. I was like, oh, okay. Every now and then, do a fresh Google and you're like, holy crap. Okay. So Brinkerhoff. Do y'all remember me talking about Val Brinkerhoff? So this connects Val Brinkerhoff. And so now I know for sure that I'm on the right path because that's who I study. That's who I've gotten a lot of these papers from, the 2 sets of 144,000. Y'all, just like Julie has said, that it goes back to her when she said that there's 144,000 lights and 144,000 dark. That whole thing. Well, he's written papers and stuff, and lots of papers and books, one called The Secret Chamber. He's more of a Joseph Smith fan, but he's also in the same group. I'm talking about Val Brinkerhoff. He's in the same group as, I guess, the same circle that David Warwick runs in, Avraham Giuliani. And kind of, he's a pro Joseph Smith, not so much Brigham Young. Brigham, in his opinion, or how he views it, this is how I see him viewing it. My take is that Val Brinkerhoff, there's like 2 separate camps out there on they're either team Joseph Smith or team Brigham Young. And I've heard some wretched things. I've read some wretched things, some horrible things. Well, really about both of them, but more negative about Brigham Young. He did the whole Mountain Meadows massacre where basically, and I'm just going to sum it all up, but anyways, it had to do with the Native Americans, and like he basically like told the members of the church that everybody was out to get them. Now this will make a lot of sense as far as that whole paranoia / it feeds into the paranoia, There's plenty that I've witnessed, just by watching other channels and things like that, and just listening and learning that way. Like if when there's general conference, that I would even see and witness some of these Mormons, ex-Mormons. It just depends on how much they're uh, devoted, to the church, if they believe, or if they're just active, or whatever, physically in, mentally out. And they would think that there's this one guy, and he would just think that the church, when they had general conference, that the church was following him, or watching him, because they're like, oh, they must be watching my channel or watching what I'm doing, because this and that. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's wow, it's telling. And I feel sorry. I mean, not sorry. I just feel a lot of compassion. I feel a lot of empathy, because it's such a jacked up system, Anyways, it's just the paranoia, and then like the Mountain Meadows massacre. Basically, Brigham Young was like, hey, to the members, they're out to get us, they're out to persecute us. And so, the members of the church fought, these alleged Native Americans who were coming. I don't know. I really don't know the story that well to be even saying what I'm saying. But basically, I don't know. It basically pitting, Mormon members against the outsiders, anybody that's outside, which is why they think they're being persecuted, because they're taught it. And I mean, it's not just strictly to Mormonism. It goes out, So, but anyway, so I was following this guy and reading a lot of his documents and PDFs and everything like that. And then I ran across this thing when I was looking up Mike Stroud, and I was like, huh, he's back podcasting. And it brings me to this website that says Brinkerhoff. That's Val Brinkerhoff. It's just one of his websites. Now, Val Brinkerhoff does a lot of the imagery and stuff like that, like from the temples. He's photographs, and he's an artist that way. Actually, there's a Jesus picture that he made that basically kind of looks like him as Jesus. I'm just saying. I'm like, oh, that looks a lot like him. So it's like a Val Jesus. But anyways, nothing surprises me anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's not to persecute. Like, from my perspective, it's not to persecute, it's to educate myself, and there's still so much to learn. We're humans, we're complex, but then we're actually make things more difficult than what they really are, what they need to be. We make things that much harder. I know I do, we make things complicated. But when you're born into let's say the covenant, which is basically Chad was born in the covenant, which means he was born into a Mormon mom and dad. You know what I mean? Like, he was born with his parents both already being Mormons themselves. And then my Uncle Charles was a convert. Joseph Ryan was a convert. In my opinion, this sets them up for failure, because whenever April Raymond says that that Charles was not spiritually equal to to her, Charles wasn't, thank God, because she getting kind of, she got a little mean there, I'd say. But you know what I'm saying. That whole thing. So Lori, married Nelson Yanes, and she married Colby's dad, William LaGoya. And then she married Joseph Ryan, and then she married Charles Vallow, and then she married Chad Daybell, whom I remember hearing back in the very beginning of this that Barry actually, approved of Chad Daybell, because you know how they went to the St. George conference and they all had to, and I'm air quoting back here, advocate. Like Lori's, I don't know, Melanie Gibb went to the conference or whatever, and then Lori wanted to advocate for. I thought this was crazy. Lori wanted to go to be there for Melanie Gibb because she was going to that conference, and so she wanted to. And then because Lori was backing Melanie, then here comes Janice and Summer, and they're backing Lori, who's going to support, just supporting each other to go. I'm like, how much freaking support do you need to go? Do you need to go to a Jesus thing? Huh? It just is odd. It's odd. Oh, he didn't convert? I don't know. I thought he did, because I don't know. I'm pretty sure, but maybe I'm, even if not. Yeah, because Lori says it in her testimony. She said that, I just went over some of this video the other day, so it's fresh on my mind. She said that he spoke at a conference, and that he was a very good showman. I say it like she does. And then he turned the judge against her, to believe her, instead of to believe him instead of her. It's kind of in that little area of that recording, but to speak at state conference and stuff like that, you have to. I think he did. I really do. But oh, he did. Okay, yeah. But I don't think he was. And see, it goes down to that semantics thing. It's like, okay, so technically, it kind of goes into that whole thing, which has been an uphill battle and aggravating all in itself, because the whole way people are like, oh, Chad was excommunicated. And I'm like, okay, well, then that makes everybody's alive again. Okay, so Chad was excommunicated, so now everybody's back to life. Yeah, false alarm. That don't make no damn sense to me. And I mean, maybe I know I have a lot more learning to do, but I just, it just doesn't make sense to me. So anyways, it basically sets them up for failure. It set Lori up for failure for sure, because she wants to be the best and competitive. She wants to be the best Mormon. There's a lot of that goes on. I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot of competition, and kind of anything you can do, I can do better. And I mean, it's a lot of pressure. It's high demand. I mean, I admire a Mormon because they're so organized and just well spoken. I mean, for real. I told Jen that not too long ago, like last week. I was like, y'all are organized. I'll tell you that now. And I admire that. Like, I aspire to be that way, And anyway, so Charles was never going to be Lori's spiritual equal. Never. Whether she knew it or not, at that time, I have no idea. And so, but here's Uncle Charles. We got receipts right here where he paid in 2016, just in his name. It doesn't have Lori's, and it says Intellectual Reserve LLC. I think it says LLC. It might say Inc. I don't know. But it's from the church, and it's from when they lived in Kauai. And he paid $12,000 in tithing 1 year, I think. I mean, I might have to look at it again, and maybe I didn't read it right. I'm not used to looking at those receipts. I was just like, good Lord, that's a lot. you know. And he paid tithing. I'm sure he paid for Lori's. I'm sure he paid for everybody. I'm sure. Can only imagine. But give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that was for him. And so with that thought, knowing that you give so much of your time here, they gave so much of their time, their money, community is built up around it. It depends on it. You depend on one another, right? In that like-minded community. And everything just orbits around this church. And the church knew that there were these prepper groups. They knew about Chad Daybell. They knew about Julie Rowe. They knew about Denver Snuffer because they had the Boise rescue. And that's when they sent out, well, they didn't, it's a lie, in my opinion, allegedly. Dallin Oaks, Dallin Oaks and some other dude, I don't remember his name. They went to Boise where Denver Snuffer was having a big conference that weekend in September. And they went there to divert it. And anyways, Dallin Oaks and the other general authority or whatever, and they went to divert it, but when the church got called out on it, they were like, no, that was just a recreation weekend, It's all technical, okay? Oh, they're in here? Hey, Mom. Hey, Mommy and Daddy. If they're here. If not, I sound like an idiot. More. Anyway, so yeah, they just all these things. If you're gonna lie about the little things, hey, good. I did sound like an idiot though. That's okay. But if the church is gonna lie about these little bitty things, what the hell do you think it's doing? What does one do about the bigger things? Ponderize that. I study the church, so I investigate, I research the church, I research the people around Chad and Lori who are still going today. It's nothing but a speed bump. That's why everybody just kind of like Mom has said, like cockroaches, they scurry away, but then they come back out, they rebrand, they act like you don't exist. I've shown up in chats. I have reached out to Mike and Nancy James live. And they're like, I've recorded myself typing even. Just, I like to cover my tracks, and just cover my bases. And they would not acknowledge me. A lot of these Mormon channels, and even the ex-Mormons, I get it. They're still coming out, and I understand. That's just how they were raised. That's their community. That's their roots. Just like the church's Chad and Lori's roots. And they never branched off. Never. They were, and allegedly, I'd say they still are, believing member, or they think they're member. I don't know. We don't know, because the church would have to leak out Lori being excommunicated, and I'm surprised that hadn't fallen out of the sky yet. That's the only time that excommunications become public, is whenever I even read this. It said whenever it's highly publicized, and I'm thinking, that's convenient. Get your Dear John letter while you're in jail. And by the way, but we didn't backdate, prior to the murders. So if we go on semantics and then the technicalities and riding that damn that damn line of literalism, then literally Chad and Lori were both allegedly active, believing Latter-day Saints at the time of every murder occurrence. So there's all that. There's those facts. And anyways, I just feel my belief is that from everything that I've studied, and I know it's happened before. I've read stories, I've watched stories. The temple is different than the church. The church, anybody can go. The temple, you have to have a temple recommend to go, to enter the house of the Lord. And within the temple, I've never been in a temple, and I've only seen pictures that are public, I've watched New Name Noah. It's where they do the rituals and the what's it called? Hosanna to God and the Lamb. That thing with the white hanky. Yeah, I saw that from their general conference, and I watched the whole congregation stand up, and I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. But anyways, so yeah, I've only seen pictures, but when you compare it to like the Reddit email, and it says, I'm able to just picture things really well. I don't know. Thank you, Lil Brands. You so sweet. Thank you. Hosanna shout, yes. Except for last year, President Nelson and Jeffrey Holland and Dallin Oaks did it, and nobody was in the I don't even know what it's called, the building where the general conference was held, and so they did it because of coronavirus. So, but they still did the Hosanna shout, and it's just compelling when you see that many people, and you're like, holy crap, that's a lot of people. And you see a bunch of little, the white handkerchiefs, and it's like, wow, that's a lot of people, and just one area, for real. But anyways, so it's like-minded behaviors. That's what I've been working on, and the conference center. Thank you, Nadine. I appreciate it. Before I sign off, last plug to get some merch if you can. Oh, thank you, Beach Mom, and thank you for modding. I know I need to go. It's 2 hours and 33 minutes in, and it's just, it goes deep. It's so deep. Mike Stroud, he actually does own, and that's where he went for these. Well, it's been over 7 months now, but when he started podcasting again, because he and I guess Margie, I'm not sure if Margie, his wife, I'm not sure if she got excommunicated the same day that he did. He got excommunicated February 13th, 2019. No, yeah. Or was it 2020? 2019. Julie Rowe got excommunicated April, somewhere between the 18th and the 22nd of, it was around her and Jeff Rowe, their anniversary, and then they got divorced. So anyways, but this is Margie, and Margie is spelled Margie, but anyways, Margie is Mike Stroud's third wife. She seems real sweet. And he seems like a normal, boring dude, but I've spent a lot of time with him. Not because I wanted to, but because I felt it's necessary, because this is what influenced my aunt, so to say, so to speak. This is who had a big influence on Jason Mao, because he was Jason Mao's seminary teacher. Yeah, which Jason Mao is now a seminary teacher and works for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's who signs his paychecks. And he works in the church educational system. That's the CES. Okay, the check signs their payroll checks. Um, Robert Norman, he also was a CES uh, teacher. Mike Stroud did it for like 20 something years. Robert Norman, he did it for a hot minute. And Robert Norman, his story sounds so much like Chad and Lori and Tammy and Charles. It it is so identical to how John Dehlin told the story about it. It was an area, I know I've kind of jumped around, but it's number on John Dehlin's channel on a Mormon Stories podcast. It's episode number 700, and it's called area. I don't remember, but I have it on here too, under second anointing. And anyways, so Robert Norman, I mean, he knows his stuff, right? And it seems, I mean, they even have one of his talks from BYU Education Week, up from 2010, I believe, or 2012. I think it's 2010. And it's 53 minutes long, and he's really not that great to have to listen to. His voice is kind of like mine. Just, he doesn't, I don't know. It's not a very good, anyways. So when I heard his story, I heard, John Dehlin talking to Brian McKnight, Lindsay Park Hansen, or Lindsay Hansen Park, however you say it, and a couple other hosts of other podcasts, and Mormonism. And they said that Robert Norman was the CES teacher, for 27 or 20 to 30 years, something like that. And that and John says it just like this. He says that Robert Norman, and I'm air quoting here, he received a revelation, and it sounds identical, okay? Received a revelation that this other woman, who's not his wife, that he was going to be married to her. This not his wife lady, okay? And so, oh my God, it gets crazy. So he allegedly, this is how John explains it, but he's, also been in the same religion. So I guess it's maybe harder for them to spot it, I saw it right away. I was like, oh my God. And, God, I butcher some things up, especially when I don't have things in front of my face. And so I'm doing the best I can. But they had, so his wife was dying, actually. And that I mean, I don't know the situation. I haven't been able to dig any further into that. But it's amazing the similarities that, so was Tammy. Chad said Tammy was going to die, and he had 2 segments in his life. And I guess he didn't, foresee him being in prison. I don't know. Not my problem. But so here's Robert Norman saying that, John Dehlin telling the story about Robert Norman, saying that, that Robert Norman got excommunicated because he got a revelation that he was married to this other woman who was also married to her husband. Sound familiar? That would be Lori and Charles, and that would be Tammy and Chad. And so I'm thinking, this is my hypothesis. I mean, I'm just like, this is my theory. I think that Robert Norman and the new woman whom he allegedly had a wink wink, quote unquote, revelation to be married to each other. I really feel like they took part in the second anointing. And I believe, strongly believe that um, somehow that got out. And then, so she's, this new girl, this new woman is married to her husband. So let's just say that's Lori and Chad. And then here's Robert Norman, and his wife is on her deathbed. She dies. And then he can actually finally marry his spiritual wife in all essence, and they finally get married legally, you know. Um, and it just, to me, it happens more often than one would want to think. And me being that one, I was like, no, 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 no. I have fought myself on this, and I've tried different ways. I've tried to turn my back to the elephant in the room, and I can't. I can't, because it's standing right there. It's right there, slapping me in the face, and I can't, because everything leads me right back to it. Y'all know I orbit around things. Y'all know that how I work, and um, oh, that's neat, Nadine. Yeah, it's not really shouted. It is. The elephant is just huge, and I understand. I do respect other people's beliefs, but then, uh, there's people who say that these second anointings are just for higher ups and people who have callings in the church, and I don't believe it. I don't believe that's true, and we can't definitively prove one way or the other, because all we have are some accounts from like Hans Mattson and Tom Phillips, who are no longer in the church because, not because, but part of the reason is because they took part in these second anointings. Tom Phillips actually thought that Jesus Christ was going to appear, just like Lori said, or that's alleged in the infamous Reddit email. It says that, and she told Melanie Gibb too, and it's the same. And Melanie Gibb even says, she's like, it's the same place where Zulema said she saw Jesus, and that Rob Wood had told her, sometimes it's a condition, and I think they were alluding to folie et deux, which is the madness of two thing, it just it resonates. It resonates as a pattern, and it's a very obvious pattern. But I can't look away now at all. I'm 144,000% invested, and I plan on getting to the bottom of this, because it's not cool. It's not cool. Do whatever you want in your religion as a church. Do the right thing. Do positive things. Holding secret ceremonies, even apart from your general membership, if I had that church, if I was the owner of that church, I would not do that, because anything done in the dark, or anything done in secret, is usually not good. It's because you don't feel proud of it, or you're gaining. It's just negative. It stinks, especially like Hans Mattson. His mother took part in a second anointing, but was sealed to his father. His father never took part in the second anointing. Ta-da! That's what he says. That means his mother was sealed to his father, but yet she took part in a second anointing to another man. Okay? Like-minded people network. I'm just saying, it's bigger than this, and it goes all the way to the top of the pyramid, the tippity top. Anyways, that's just my hypothesis. That is my opinion. And it's just mine. It does not reflect anybody else, just me. So basically, if you're going to come at me, come at me, you know? But anyways, I know I've been just talking forever. Can't get callings to go to the temple. You would need to find a way to believe you were good enough. This is how these secret combination groups happen. Yes. Yes. It's so interesting. And then I can't look away. It all brings me back to that. If I look away and look the other direction, then I'm just silencing another victim. And I can't look away. I feel like I have a duty, to report and to help any way that I can, whatever that may be. I don't know. We'll find out. But okay, I'm trying to hide this damn thing. Stop sharing. Okay. Oh, that's still in the way, huh? It's not an elephant though. Okay, so yeah, this, I guess I might as well tell you all about it, huh? So it all made sense to me. Yeah, all of it, I'd say a lot. Let's say 99% goes on at the temple. The language is different. The cadence of the talks that I've read, that are shared, it's a different language. Oh. Anyways, so I was a while back, I ran across Mike Stroud having a living water foundation of the White Mountains. And I was like, well, I'll be. What the hell? Thanks, little brands. And so I got to digging, right? And there's this whole, and let me go Google this up. Damn it. Oh, wait. Living Waters Foundation of the White Mountains. Wow. Right? All right, let me open that up. Let me share this real quick, and then after this, we will go. I promise. Thank you, moderators. Yeah. So much. Okay. Oh, man, I got to go take that damn thing down. It's been a nightmare. Anyways. Okay, so I happened upon this, and I was like, oh, holy shit. Okay. Well, this is interesting, And actually, I started Google. I'm sorry, I just yelled. I started out by Googling where. Okay, because I found. Hold on, let me get my ducks in a row. I found this, and this is from the Weekly Talkie Forum or whatever, and that's Michelle McDermott. Okay, and so this is like a forum. And Michelle McDermott, she's a prepper. She's a ninja prepper. And she has spoken at same conferences as Chad Daybell. Rexburg, actually, even. Anyways, she says, and this is back in 2016, on October 14, 2016. I have invited Mike Stroud to be a part of our forum family. Here's a quick note from him. Dear Shell, I have read a number of the posts concerning our podcast. One of the things that came up quite a bit was, who is this Mike Stroud? Smiley face. Happy. Maybe a little bit of background would be helpful. So this is Mike Stroud, okay? My wife Margie and I live in a little ranching community in the White Mountains of Arizona called Eagar, Eagar. I have lived here for the past 24 years. I am a Utah native, born and raised in Salt Lake City / Sandy area. I served a mission to Bavaria, Germany. Margie and I have served 3 missions together in Mongolia, 2 years. And I think it's Cebu or Chibu, I don't remember. Philippines, Now you might want to put a tab in that, because awkwardly and just by chance, that's where HIPLOS, Hiplos, whatever the hell they named my uncle when they said, when they deemed him the darkest entity, had taken over his body, and it was Garrett or Ned Garrett, however it goes. I think it was Garrett Ned, then Hiplos. It originates from the Cebuano language, the Philippines. It's this one specific language, and it means to loosen, to let it, like to turn it loose, to let it go, to cast out, in my opinion. It kind of equates to the same thing. So I find that very interesting. Oh, nuts. Okay. So, and I let out a few YouTube shorts, and they were just about Mike Stroud, and it's some pictures that I'd found from their Flickr account that was public online. And it just so happened that Dallin Oaks and his wife and a lot of the general authorities and the, uh, the top dudes, um, were, they crossed paths right there with Mike and Margie Stroud. I find that interesting. I just like to put a pin in that. Okay, so Philippines for 1.5 years, and Morristown, New Jersey for 1.5 years. That's where Chad served also. Since I retired from the church education system in 2006, I was employed by the CES for 27 years. I have a current temple recommend, and Margie and I have served as ordained temple workers in the Snowflake Temple, 2 missions. I currently teach the HP, which is a high priesthood, I think. Yeah. I'm sorry. HP priesthood lessons the second and third Sunday of each month. We are the stake preparedness specialists for the Eager Stake, and I am the BSA. I think that's Boy Scouts of America, maybe advancement chairman. I could be wrong. Let me know. I have 12 children. That's a lot of children. 32 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. I am 72 years old. If your friends want to see and know more about me, I can't imagine why, he says, they can look on Facebook under Mike Stroud. I am the cowboy in the white hat standing in front of a ranch gate. Thanks again for inviting me to participate in your site. It looks like you have a wonderful group of brothers and sisters who gather here. Gather. Our best to you and your family, Mike. And so, of course, I read through every one of these. I actually did a video on it. Just it's so long, that it's just harder to edit the longer you go. But anyways, this is where it's at. That's where it's all at. It's all in the details. And so that led me to Eager, right? And so I Googled that on up. Let me go to it. And so I'll just show you this real quick. Okay, Eagertown in Arizona. Let me go ahead and open the map so I can just get there. Now, why the hell did it bring me to a dictionary? How about a map? Oh, because it auto-corrected me. It's spelled EAGAR, Arizona. Okay, so let me share this tab. Okay, it's town of Eager, 22 West. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do all that. And so, oh, bam. Okay, Mike and Margie Stroud. No thanks. So, they're in the White Hills of Arizona. I shit you not. Like this, you can't make this shit up. Wait, where are they at? There's a church. Where did I pin it? I don't see it. But anyways, look, I'm gonna back it out so you can kind of see. That was on the 7 missions list for Chad and Lori, right? 7 missions to accomplish together. One of them was to locate camps in the White Mountains of, I think they put northeast Arizona. Depends on what you consider. It's kind of center. just throwing that in there. So I found that interesting. Then I really found it interesting whenever I ran across, oh hell, I don't know where I'm at. I'm in Arizona somewhere. Okay, there it is. I'm probably making you all dizzy. Anyways, so I just followed, follow my nose, and I ended up, let me get back to their nonprofit, and I ended up here, which is the Living Waters Foundation of the White Mountains. I was like, well, isn't that something? That's so special. Special. And it's a foundation of the White Mountains that blessing the lives of others through the beauty and bounty of the earth. Now, they've put a lot of work into this, but you're going to see. Living Waters Foundation of the White Mountains is a nonprofit charitable foundation to help those who are in need. The foundation purpose is to provide fresh organic food at no cost for the poor, needy, and the less fortunate in our midst. You are invited to come and join the effort. It's pretty. It's nestled in the heart of the beautiful White Mountains of Central Eastern Arizona. Dedicated volunteers strive to improve the lives of all who live in Eager, Springerville, and surrounding communities. Proceed further to learn what you can do to help your neighbor in need. Oh, I just noticed there was a storm cloud right there with rain falling. Anyways, for what purpose? There's currently a critical need for individuals and families struggling to provide fresh, nutritious food for themselves and their loved ones. Y'all can read on in this. I need to end soon. So I just found it fascinating. There's so many pictures in here of, I've watched videos and pictures of water lines and sheds being dropped off, houses being built in this community of like-minded people. It's crazy. Not crazy. It's just really fascinating. It's interesting. So I checked that off Chad and Lori's list. Identified. There are the white camps. I mean, the camps of the White Mountains in Arizona have been identified. There's Stroud right there. Here, let me grab this link too so I can copy and paste into the chat. It's beautiful. So anyways, they do a lot of charity work now, but one can't help but wonder if this was what was meant on Chad and Lori's, or Chad had sent the email or whatever to Lori, 7 missions to accomplish together. And this one was alarming because maybe the kids could have been there, right? Everybody has mentioned how much they were hoping that they were in a bunker somewhere, and God knows we wish that would have been true. But anyways, let me post that in the chat real quick. And just thank you guys for being here and for just letting me be me, and letting me share and vent and with you guys. And thanks for supporting my efforts. I'm tired. I really am. It's just like, I know we all are. We're all tired. This has been a long stretch. And I'm looking forward to getting to the other side of this and going up from there, So thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, just I love you, Mama Bear. And thank you, mods, Trace on the Case, Beach Bum, Leanne, Ferguson, and Jennifer. Thank you so much. That y'all mean the world to me. Everybody sending y'all love, mods. I love you too, Jean Marie. And love always wins. Tell a friend. Just, I'm joking. It does win, though. It will. It sure beats being bitter and resentful. But anyways, thank y'all for being here. I love you. And we'll talk soon, okay? We kind of like you, Crush. Right? Y'all are my people, I swear. Love ya.